All right. This is actually the second video of this video. The first one we did all the numerology. Now that that is taken care of, we're going right into the actual reading of the natal charts. The person on the left requested it is the female. The person on the right will be the male. She's trying to see if this is her male. She's trying to see what the natal charts will say. Is it male? And whenever you get a twin flame reading, it covers everything. Everything. Compatibility, past life, life purpose, possible family situations. Everything is covered. If it's on a natal chart, we try our best to talk about it and analyze it. Okay. First house. Now, her ascendant is in it. Her first house is Capricorn, but her ascendant is in the 12th house. Now, usually, when they put the ascendant in the 12th house, that's usually a reason it has something to do with their twin, usually. Because if this is a twin flame natal chart, it'll tell a story. And usually your 12th house deals with the prenatal, pre-birth experience inside your mother's womb. And the ascendant deals with the birth itself. So they put that in there. When they put it together like that, just so you know what it usually matters. But we are going to read it. So her first, like so her ascendant is not her first house. Her ascendant is Sagittarius in the 12th house. Her ascendant is Capricorn with the EP. Okay, Capricorn ascendant. Now, here's how it gets tricky. But she may still have Sagittarius energy with her Capricorn. But the bottom line is her ascendant is Sagittarius. Her first house is Capricorn. And that's why you see some people. Well, my first house might be Capricorn, but people basically see me more as a Sagittarius. Well, that's why I just explained it. Now, the Capricorn in the first house is how the world would see you. This is a business-minded person. This person is going to be business-minded. Might even be an old soul. Business-minded person. They are interested in their reputation. So they do worry about what people think about them. Because even some people, they say, oh, I don't give a F. But they still, they still have some. They may say, I don't care, I don't give a what nobody think. But ultimately, they still, worry a little bit. Because you still worry, like, depending on who you are, depending on what brand is your sneakers. And so you worry a little bit. It's something about you worry a little bit. Because if you really didn't care, you would just go outside looking totally horrible and you wouldn't care. So we care a little bit, even if it's not a much. But that's how Capricorn is concerned about career and reputation. Some Capricorns can be real like they might dress well or dress professional. It might seem wearing night. It just depends. Wearing perfume. It just depends. And the reason why I said perfume because this is a female's natal chart. Now, as you can see, most of their activity is going the other way of the chart. So we're just going to get past this. That's your first house. Your second house. And I checked it with the system. Because people like to try to argue. But I make sure I check. Because I know that the number of the house is important. So I checked it with the system to make sure. Now, the second house is Aquarius. Now, this type of person kind of doesn't have the typical viewpoint you would have about money. And they actually will use money like for the friends, family, associates, or community. Because Aquarius rules the 11th house. And your second house is ruled by Taurus. And it's all about your value system, your money, and your possessions. But the reason why it's dangerous is because look at their Taurus is in the 5th house of fun. And whenever you have Taurus in the 5th house of fun, they'll gamble it away. They'll keep taking risk and gambling away. Somebody can come up to them with some type of lame stuff and they'll get involved with it and lose their money. Highly sensual person. They like massages. They like to eat. But they really want to have fun. The 5th house is also about children, travel, taking risks, creativity, anything that's fun. Her third house is Pisces. And this is the third house. It's again about small children, younger education, creativity. But her creativity, because she's probably going to be intuitive or psychic, but her creativity will be in that. It's going to be something spiritual, something intuitive. And wherever Neptune is, it's going to affect her Pisces, because Neptune rules Pisces. And her Neptune is in her 12th house, and 12th house is ruled by Pisces. So not only is she psychic, but she's kind of tapped in to like long distance stuff and stuff in the universe, because that's what Sagittarius does. And she can also do telekinesis, but she can also do telepathy. Also, her dreams will be giving her messages, and she may be able to tap into her twin soul, who is her twin flame, or anybody else in her soul family. She could tap in. She could kind of know stuff going on in the universe because of this placement. It's all about the brotherhood, the community. She has spiritual, mental, like her thoughts are going to be on spiritual stuff, mental communications. Could also be multitasking. Moving into the 4th house, and that's Aries. So you're definitely talking about aggression. We already did now Pallas, but the good news about Pallas retrograde is that Pallas, they worry about social issues, minority issues, women issues. So this person may have like a rough exterior, but they do kind of care about stuff. It's kind of like when you see rappers doing like "We Are the World" or something like that. Now, we already said the 5th house, and they had some type of healing, because we already went over all the numerology and stuff. Now, I don't always do numerology on charts. I want you to know that. It's how the angels go. You have to have patterns, because that's how I know the angels are talking to you. So that was the first video. So the warning in the 5th house was don't have so much fun that you're defeating your spiritual purpose. Because they're definitely trying to make you a spiritual person. And not just a spiritual person, but helping other people. That's why they're talking about the 11th house and the community and brotherhood in the 3rd house. And Aquarius represents the 11th house. Now your 6th house is all about service, but healing. It's service, it's healing, it's health, it's home, small children, small animals, co-workers, subordinates, daily activities. And you have Gemini there. Now, why did they put Gemini there? Well, again, brotherhood, small children. But also Gemini can be a little immature. So they're trying to heal it. They're trying to heal Gemini. To know, don't be so immature. Seventh house is relationship with nurturing, but it's family there. So her relationship has to be family centered. But that's also, she may find herself in a relationship. See, with the vertex, that means a significant event, a significant meeting, a significant breakup, or a soulmate connection. And that soulmate could just be a soulmate, or it could be a twin soul. These are all the possibilities. And it's in your relationship sector. So it's definitely some type of relationship, but it's still got to be based on family. So her relationship partnerships had to be based on family. But you also got to be careful, because it's also legal warnings. Because she also had a legal warning with family and the 5th house, which is, I think it was the 0 degrees Aries, which is in the 4th house. In the 4th house, but it's on the border of the 4th and the 5th. So she may see fights with the family over just any legal matters. Could be inheritances, or it could just be a beatdown. Because I've seen that too. Cops got to come to the house because somebody kicking somebody's ass. I grew up on stuff like that. So that's why that's why I say there's a reason for everything. There's a reason why I got to do this natal chart. So that is the 7th house. 8th house. Now, we are going to read the 8th house but not just yet. We're going to read everything that's in the 8th house because that's a long thing to read, but not yet, just yet. But Leo's there. So she's kind of like, it's kind of fun for her. I mean, we already know she can go toe to toe with the best of them, and not just fist fighting, not just verbally, because that's what Gemini is all about, that verbal. But also, like, they were talking about guns and shit. So even in a shootout, like if, I don't know if she's trained or not, but she could really go good. Like, she could go with the best of them. So that's what Leo is in the 8th house, because 8th house is really all about power and power struggle. You could say transformation and stuff. See, I like to try to break it down, but, you know, it's a lot of stuff in the 8th house. But essentially, whenever you're dealing with Scorpio, you're dealing with Pluto, you're dealing with power and power struggles and takeovers and all kinds. So she'd be the boss at that. And also, that's a highly sexual house. And Leo likes sex. Leo's a fun, likes romance and sex and fun and all that stuff. So her 5th house is a lot like her 8th house. And that's why it's dangerous. Even got Taurus there. And then they're playing with her. The people that put the chart together are playing with her because her Taurus is really her 2nd house, which is supposed to be her money. But then they put her Taurus in the 5th house, and then put her 5th house, Leo rules the 5th house, in her 8th house, which is supposed to be Scorpio or other people's money. So her money is going to kind of be caught up in all kind of stuff. And that may be one of the reasons why she may see a lot of money go. She may see money come too, but she's going to see money go. Now, Vesta is usually a priestess because a lot of people see sex as spiritual, like Marvin Gaye. But she's a priestess, but she's highly sexual too. But it all depends on where you find her. But in that placement, her Vesta is saying party, party, sex, sex, power struggles, all kind of stuff. The stuff you be seeing. You know, talking, ain't that bitch better not be looking at my man. All kind of stuff. But Vesta has that spirituality there, especially with the sex. But she has to be careful because you could still burn out. Now they told me earlier, for anybody that got to hear the first video, they told me earlier to tell her, but you might have heart trouble. You might have heart problems. Be careful because Leo is the heart. Like even in the 4th house, you have Aries. So that could be heart trouble. Because believe it, I never used to hear about no women, you know, having heart trouble, but now they do. And the lady next door, because I got on the other video, I had to talk about my neighbors because it was on her chart. It was amazing what happened. But anyway, that's the house I'm really talking about. She's always loud. The windows be open in the wintertime. But this is how the devil like to fuck with you. Like, I don't know any black people that have their window open in the wintertime. These are the first black people I ever seen that got the window open in the wintertime. Yelling and screaming and yelling at the kids and playing the music all loud and all kind of crazy. But they carried her ass out of here. The EMT or whatever you call them, they had to come and put her in the ambulance. So she probably had some type of heart problem. But that's because of all that energy and all that crazy stuff going on. And plus whatever else they're doing. Because like I said, you got to understand, if you're doing any type of drug, there's a chance of speeding your heart rate up. So you don't need to be yelling and all kind of... I'm not talking to this person just to make that... I'm talking to anybody. So you got to be careful. So now, that's the 8th house. And we're going to come back because we still got to talk about it. Because she's highly psychic. So she is connected to the 8th house. So everything in it. So we will be talking about it. But now we're going into the 9th house, which is really your higher self, long distance. It could be definitely good fortune, especially with Jupiter there. So this is where she's going to have her money at, in this 9th house. And we'll talk about it. Got love there because Venus has money too. Venus is love, finances, fun, fashion, dancing, diplomacy, could even be forgiveness. But Venus doesn't necessarily want to be like long term. It just depends on what the placement is. So she's got that coming out of her home sector. And she's got money coming out of her home sector because Virgo, who is also the Virgin, rules over your 6th house. But that is the home sector, a health sector. A service sector. So she's making money in her 9th house. And a lot of it because Jupiter's blessing her. So that's why sometimes you see people that they be kind of callous towards money. But they still have money. You say, well, how this person goes to Atlantic City and blows it? How come they still got money? Because the universe is there. But to understand her 9th house, okay, the 9th house is about your higher self, long distance, foreign matters, religion, philosophy, but it's still law. In-laws, 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 but the higher law as well in religion. And what could also be about culture. With Venus, there is art. So this person really has a lot of class though. Like Al Capone. A lot of people didn't know Al Capone. He was into like art, and Al Capone was in opera, but he was a street dude. Like he was like the ghettos, like the Italian ghettos. He really was a street dude. But yeah, he still had a lot of class because we lived different lifetimes. But a lot of people don't know that Al Capone was really like a classy dude. But he could go toe to toe with any street dude and take him out. Plus, he had a very violent, ruthless side, and that's what you're seeing on his chart. If you were his enemy, if you tried to cross him, he was very ruthless. But he was also cool. Because I know an account of somebody that was doing business with Al Capone, and Frank Nitti cheated the dude. So the dude robbed Frank Nitti. But if you robbed Frank Nitti, you robbed Al Capone. So Frank Nitti put a hit out on this dude. And this dude eventually became a Christian. That's how I know about him. And so what happened, Al Capone found out and got the guy on the phone and said, what's going on? What's going on between you and Frank? And he said, Frank stiffed us on some money, so we robbed him. And Al said, oh, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. And people that know Al Capone say he was like that. Like he was a really cool dude. He was like a street dude. Like he never forgot where he came from. Because he didn't even want to be in that shit. He was a little kid with a little lemonade stand or something. In the hood, in an Italian hood. Italian neighborhood. And so some 3 kids walked up to him and robbed him and took everything. So he went to the corner store. Because anybody in the hood knows the corner store. What's going on with the corner store. So a gangster owned that store. So Al Capone said, hey, listen, he's just a little kid. He's a little kid. He said, if they robbed me, they took me. And that gangster said to him, they're going to keep robbing you. If you keep letting yourself be taken advantage of, they're going to keep robbing you. So Al Capone, after he heard that, he went and got a big stick and went up to them 3 guys and beat the shit out of them and took all the stuff back. And that's how he became Al Capone, the big gangster. So the reason why I'm saying that is because there's spirit and there's vibrations and everything's happening for a reason. Everything's happening for a reason. Now, to understand your 9th house, we have to go back to your 4th house. Because Virgo rules the 4th house. The 6th house. Virgo rules the 6th house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you see Gemini again. So remember, don't take it anymore. That's another message from the universe. Time to do things new. Don't take it anymore. Time to change. You can't get past it. Now, remember, in twin flames, the Gemini energy tends to be immature. When twins keep going into separation, it's usually because of the Gemini energy. They want you to have the Sagittarius energy. It's more mature. It's higher education. It's the higher self. Your higher self will always be you and your twin. Your higher self is the one. It's the one. So I could say, hey, my twin's higher self is always trying to talk to me. But that's still my higher self too. Or I might say, hey, my higher self just told me don't do that. That's still my twin's higher self. They can never be separate. We might be separated here on Earth, but we're not separated. That's why I don't be sweating that stuff. There's no way we could be separated. She's with me all the time. There's like all the time. Numerology, you name it, she's there. Anything I do, she makes sure she shows up to let me know she's there. So you can't be separated. But if you stay third dimensional, that's all you're going to get. And you're going to be vexed out and crazy. And like I said, you're so busy focused on this that you're not focused on 17, 15, which is hell is real. And you see that's exactly what you're suffering with the Chiron retrograde is saying. Chiron retrograde is saying unhealable wound. So you got to be careful with that. Because even a numerology is a warning. Because you don't want it to not be healable. You want it to be healed so that you don't burn in hell. And that's why you got heal, you got hell. You got to be careful. So that's why I say you're getting all these warnings today from the universe. So now they're trying to take your They're trying to heal your Gemini energy so that you and this relationship will work. But that's why the message is to grow up wherever you need to grow up. Because when you get your natal chart, it's a lot of information. And that's why, like I say, take notes. Because the universe is telling you where to grow up and where to work. And we all have it. That's why it's not to take it personal. You know, to take it personal, that's just immature. This is designed to help. Is not designed, you know, because nobody's going to out-argue me because my whole family was dysfunctional. I've seen crazy all my life. So that I'm not going to, that's just silly. You got to get help so that you can get with your twin or find love. And you got to get help so that you have a relationship with spirit so that you don't have to fear the other side. Because otherwise, what you have is deception. And then by the time you realize it, it's going to be too late. There'll be no coming back once you're sent there. Now, so that's your 9th house. By improving your Gemini, which is short-sighted, doesn't like to go deep. Not really what you call loyal. Not that it's a bad sign, but it just doesn't have the maturity to go long-term. By healing that, and in your 9th house, whatever you're doing in your 9th house, because that's home, you got everything. So you'll be doing, if you're not already doing it, you'll be doing something in the home that can bless you. But it all has to do with the healing of the Gemini. So you got to figure that out. You got to figure that out because only you know. But the advice from the universe is whatever you'll be doing from the home at this point on would be positive. But you're still going to be able to make money because you know how to do it. Now, in your 10th house, let's do your 11th house, and we'll come back to your 10th house, and we still got to read the 8th house. All right, just give me a moment. So your 11th house is full of 27s. So because we already went over the 27s, and even then you got 777, which is 21. So remember when we said about 27 because it's all in your. So your 11th house is all about Scorpio. So these are either people you associate with, or these are going to become your customers if they're not already. Or how, like I said, you know everything. And even customers, if you make a change, because they're advising you to make a change. New customers, however you do it, they might be old customers that become new customers. You'll work that out. But the bottom line is, you got good communications there. Whenever you see Uranus in Scorpio, Uranus can mean anything sudden can happen. But Uranus can also be that dude in Scorpio that comes up with something new, like an alternative healing. So when you have Uranus in Scorpio, like this is definitely a lot of stuff because they said you have enemies and stuff. But that's your friends, association, and groups. But you got Scorpio. So it's definitely going to be a lot of power there, a lot of stuff, which we're getting to explain, all that stuff. But again, they already told you you're a boss. And not only are you a boss, but you're a... You can talk too. Like you would really want to get like some type of reading, you know, because you're connected. You're connected to like a Al Capone type. Doesn't necessarily have to be Al Capone, but you're connected like to them type of people that were just bosses and leaders and stuff. And a lot of people try to put Al Capone down, but he was a leader. It's just that he was a lot like John Gotti. He didn't care what you thought. And you got to respect somebody like that because they lose everything. They lose everything because they don't give a fuck what you think. Like Andy Kaufman. They don't care what you think. And you gotta, it takes a lot of heart to do that, even if you lose everything. Because you actually told this world I could give a flying what you think. I'm John Gotti. I could care less what you think. I'm Al Capone. Who cares what you think? Even though they lose everything doing it. But you gotta respect it. Well, I gotta respect that anyway. So you got that, you kind of got that on you. You got the whole thing. The same thing. All right. So you definitely got a lot of warring stuff going on with the. When I say friend, this is just your friends association group sector. But friends can become enemies, or they could have been enemies the whole time. But it's still going to be in that sector. The people that are around you, associates, all that stuff. And anything can happen at any given time. But you can see on your chart, if you made it this far, it's because the universe wanted you to be at this far, at this time. Because all this stuff is planned out. People think that it's not, and I'm not going to argue with it. I've been doing this too long. See, I'm not going to be one you can deceive because I've been doing it too long. And I just know. Like all this stuff, everything, the meeting, the white bag flying, all that stuff is planned out. And when you understand, you have to understand. They gave you the movie The Matrix. They tried to show you what's really going on, but people don't want to accept it. What happened when Keanu Reeves finally found this guy that was running everything? It was like the Wizard of Oz. It's one man. And in the Wizard of Oz, it was one little man acting like he was this big-ass lion, and he's behind this mirror and all this crazy. But behind this mirror, he can do his little stuff, work his magic, or do his little technology, and fool everybody. And that's why they said Thoth is the trickster. But you're still here. So since you're still here, you still got to go through this. And the scary part is, you could say, well, F it. It's stupid. I'm not going to follow it. I'm going to make my own way. But it's still a hell. So like you're here, you're kind of like forced one way or another. So I just learned how to think smart. See, I'm cool, but see, I can talk to you a certain way for certain reasons. But you're built for this. That's why you got all this fire around you, all these fire signs and Aries and fire with the moon and all. You're built for it. You just got to realize what it really is your twin is waking you up, but you got to realize what your purpose is. Because if not, you're going to be focusing on stuff that really don't matter, and you're going to lose it. So that's why they sent me in. North Node, true North Node, and Leo. That's what's up in space right now. And that's what I am, a Leo. And it's going right back to your 8th house, which is with the Scorpio, which is with all this Mars and Uranus and all kind of crazy stuff. Because that means anything could happen at any given moment. And it's going to be somewhat combative. And Mars used to rule Scorpio. Now Mars rules Aries. So you got a lot of combative energy. So now, we're still going to read Scorpio and still go back to the other house. But now we're going to your 12th house where your ascendant is. So that's a message in itself. And it's a Sagittarius message, just so you know. But your 12th, well, let's do this. Anytime you see Neptune, Neptune is idealistic, but they call Neptune the deceiver. And really, Sagittarius is usually really cultured. These are your counselors, your doctors, your nurses. Sagittarius is the healer, but they're usually very intelligent. And they care about people. They can have a lot of class, a lot of culture. But whenever you see Neptune and Sagittarius together, this is a person who is tapped into everything. They can be receiving messages and all kind of stuff. I already explained that. So really, your ascendant, which is your 12th house, your ascendant is in your 12th house, but you're a very idealistic person. See, that's why I say you're probably dealing with past lives, even though I really don't see any of your planets in retrograde, because you could see it. But that's why I told you about the ascendant is usually supposed to be the first house. But you see how you're like this optimistic person. But then you got that other side that can go toe-to-toe with gangsters and shit, like real life. So that's interesting. So we already told you what the ascendant is about in the 9th house, because Sagittarius rules the 9th house. So we already told you about Sagittarius in the 9th house and the connection to Jupiter. And what you also have to understand is when Jupiter is in your 12th house and your Jupiter energy is because it rules Sagittarius, that also means you have a guardian angel that's also going to be blessing you with good fortune and stuff. The guardian angel is going to be blessing you with luck and good fortune. So whenever you have planets in your 12th house, that could be telling you about these angels. Now we'll look it up, but it's hard to find because they won't even tell you the name of the Jupiter guardian angel. Because I look that kind of stuff up because I like to know it, but I can't find it online. But I'm just telling you in case you can find it. But you know, King Neptune is of course be dealing with water, and plus Neptune rules Pisces. So this is a highly psychic, intuitive person on so many different levels. Like she may not know that, but she could be talking to people on other planets and stuff. That's why I say they be locking these people up as crazy, but a lot of these people ain't crazy. And all you had to do is a natal chart. I'm going to put this on pause. I'll be back. Alright, so when you see Neptune in your 12th house, which works for Pisces anyway, that means you really should be writing your dreams down because you're getting a lot of information from your dreams. See, I meet people that this stuff really overtakes them. But that's because, like I said, you got to really put yourself, and the 12th house is about, I'm not saying you got to isolate yourself. This is what I'm saying. You got to focus. See, once you start to set goals, and once you really start to understand, you should be controlling it. I don't care how it comes. But the reason why people go crazy or they get overtaken by the unknown is because of that focus. And you got to be very careful, Cancer and water signs with Scorpio and the unknown. Because there are spirits. That's why it said enmities. Enmities. It didn't say enemies. But you can deal with it. And it's like for people, there is help available. Even out here on YouTube, there's for people that need it. There's videos on how to get deliverance, how to deliver your house, how to remove. It's things you can do. So you just have to be careful, take it slow. And that's why you want to work with your angels. And if you believe in prayer, praying and stuff like that. Because it's difficult, in my opinion, because people want to run from it. Oh, I don't want to hear about that. I just want to know about this. But you got to. That's why I said that's why my friend did it. Oh, just tell me about my soulmate in the 8th house. I said, you better get that whole reading. I said, because you got it, it's the whole thing. And he wouldn't do it. Hard-headed dude. Real hard-headed. So he doesn't listen. The relationship fails in about less than 2 months. And now he's going through whatever, because you know how you get your heart broke. But then he finally did it. Then he came back and he got like, it's 3 people he's interested in. So he did all 3. But use common sense. That's all I'm trying to tell you. It's not a marketing. It's common sense. So you can master whatever's going on, because you wouldn't be put in this situation if you couldn't deal with it. But you got to be smart. So if you have those type of 12th house problems or 8th house problems or Scorpio problems and all that, you can overcome it or better deal with it. Because you can see it on your chart. They made you a fighter and all that stuff. So, but you got to know how to deal with it. So that's why you're taking notes and realize that's what they said. This is new. You're under a new moon. So what you're doing, it's like a religious thing. Like that's why Vesta's right there. And wherever you see Vesta in your chart, it's telling you got to slow down and take breaks, or you're going to burn out and have health trouble. And you got the same thing going on in your 12th house, because they're telling you now for your own good. And that's what they said when I read it. It said for your own benefit. Positive outcomes for you. You got to slow down and start to do things differently. And you're still going to be blessed. And you have a lot of powerful angels helping you. But you have to slow down. That's what the 12th house is about. Reflection, slowing down. It is isolation till you get things together. Because there might be things coming through your dreams, coming through your subconscious mind. Even whenever you get any type of reading, they'll be trying to tell you stuff. But that's why you have to deal with someone who really understands astrology. Because even that female, once she realized she was making a lot of money off of love, she didn't care about that stuff. And she even said it. She said, listen, a lot of people asking me about astrology and things like that. She said, I can recommend who to go to. She said, because she said, I'm psychic and I know about astrology too. But I'll recommend you to go to people who really know about astrology, because I'm sticking with love. And she said, She was like, because that's how I do it. Because she's now interested in all that other stuff because she's getting paid. But when you're really interested in life purposes, because if you're really a big girl or a big guy, love is going to come, love is going to go. You might break up with a person you claim to love 4 or 5 times. Y'all might start seeing other people. Love is a small portion of your life, but because we're in so much pain and we want love so much, we make it so big. And that's why we get played out. And then you guys think I'm the bad guy because I tell you the truth. When I could just sit here and milk them. But I don't do that. So it is what it is. It's the life we live. So in your 12th house, it's telling you to, for 2 things in the 12th house. It's about other people. It's not about you. So when they put Sagittarius in the 12th house, it can be a twin flame message, which I think yours is. But it's also maybe in a past life, this person thought they were smarter than everybody. And therefore, they looked down on people and people owed them something. But now when they put Sagittarius in the 12th house, you're to use all that high classness and culture and high education. You're to use those gifts to help other people become stronger and help other people to be confident. Because the 12th house is all about spirituality and the Pisces and the churches, and they're all about your fellow humans and humankind or whatever. So that you're supposed to use your Pisces gifts to help others. But it's also Virgo energy, because your 12th house is usually opposite the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo, and then Virgo is with Sagittarius, so it is those home issues. So anything we said about your home issues are still going to come up in the 12th house, because you got to deal with it. It's all about healing, reckoning. So now we're dealing with good fortune. We're going to deal with good fortune in the 12th house. So you have a unique opportunity to transform or dissolve your own karma. So that's so they're giving you a ticket to ride. And this is why they're making me really go to all these levels. They're trying to tell you. They're giving you a ticket to transform or dissolve your own karma. And most people don't have that. Once they get it, it's stuck on them. So you have a mystic talent and the gift of prophecy. And this is why you're going to make money anyway. So you don't have to worry about any other way. Like, people come up with ways. That's why they're talking about that aggression. Oh, I'm going to get mine. I'm not going to be broke. You know what I'm saying? Because that's that street talk. That's that street mentality. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it no matter how I got to get it. If I got to get it from you, I'm going to get it. I'm going to get mine. But you don't have to do that, because you got talents that people are going to come anyway. Because like I said, I saw that female blow up. Almost, her videos were kind of dark. It was almost like broken down. But she was real good, though. She knew her shit. One of my favorites out here. And then all of a sudden, when she saw how much money she was making, how many people were coming her way, she said, forget that. She changed the whole site. Everything became bright. She was always nice, but she became nicer, way more professional. And she was ready for business, like overnight. So I know what can happen. So they say your dreams often give you answers. So you should keep a journal for your dreams, and also keep a, one you carry with you. You're going to have a flair for spirituality, mysticism, illusion, and fantasy. You can be productive in film, television, and works of fiction. Now they're talking about enemies again. This is the only chart. I've done charts where they talked about enemies before, but yours was like, oh, more. Now, but listen to what they say. Your enemies will frequently change their attitude from hostility to neutrality. So what they're telling you is get more spiritual. Follow the advice in these 2 videos. And if you do your part, the universe is going to work on them. So they're not even going to have beef with you. It's going to change. But you got to do your part. That's why you heard me say all the time, I don't worry about my twin no more. Because she got to get her shit together. There's nothing I can do. She's got to get to a point where talking to me is more important than all that BS she's doing. And when she finally does that, she's going to find out that we could have did this shit 4 years ago. So your enemies might actually become your best supporters, benevolent. Because you got to give people going to want to know. And they say that this person is generally unaware of their good fortune. Well, now you should know. Like Biggie said, now you know. And they say you will be treated well by healthcare professionals. And that's Virgo, health and all that. You will be treated well by healthcare professionals. Plus you got that angel, that Jupiter angel, working off that Sagittarius energy and that Pisces energy. So the universe, I told you, you got a good... That's why I feel so sorry for people. Because I'm out here trying to help, but they just hear the tone. They don't like the tone, won't go to the content, and I become their enemy. They don't even listen. Now, we're going to do good fortune in Sagittarius. Well, Neptune. We're going to do good fortune in Neptune. Happiness and success will come easily to the person who uses Neptune in positive ways. And that's what people got to understand, because some people use the unknown in a negative way. But you got to pay, because I got a friend now, and her and her twin are like nut jobs. But that's because they used a lot of stuff in a bad way in a past life. They use astrology, they use drugs in a bad way, and now they're paying for it. Like they're literally almost really nut jobs. So they're saying in a positive way can be metaphysics, spiritual work, arts, music, marine life, underwater exploration, because Neptune's all about water, and space exploration. Now Neptune in Sagittarius. Adventurous and expansive. They will achieve happiness and success by reaching out to vaster mental and philosophical horizons. And I think when they said vaster, they mean like wider horizons. So that was a good 12th house. Alright, so finally, we're going to read everything that's in the 8th house. And the reason why I do it this way, because there's no way I could possibly know. Only that person will know. And plus, it's just letting them know what's out there. The 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto. It deals with secrets, sexual matters, mysteries, doubt, accusations, suspicion, supernatural, psychic abilities, internal plotting, internal indignation, conspiracy, vengeance, revenge, anxiety, esoteric knowledge, forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, obsession, addictions, compulsion, power struggles, manipulations, power manipulations, abuse, greed, lust, compulsive behavior, codependencies, stalking, intense watery emotions, arguments, debates, tauntings, revenge, fear, intensity, psychic abilities, great transformation, high sexuality, doubt, depth, taxes, IRS, legal matters, court, lawsuits, inheritances, law breaking, shared resources, finances, business, karma, other people's money, the soul, reincarnation, afterlife, birth, death, resurrection, rebirth, regeneration, rejuvenation, animalistic behaviors, freaky down and dirty behaviors, psychological situations, studies, research, knowledge, forbidden knowledge, hidden knowledge, investigations, investigators, managers, agents, addictions, drugs, alcoholism, other worlds, creepy crawlies, other dimensions, science, higher sciences, holistic healing, spiritual healings, alternative medicines, internet, long distance, advanced technology, alchemy, metaphysics, sacred geometry, things that are forbidden, taboo, astrology, knowledge, hidden knowledge, aliens, higher life, deceived persons, astral planing, telekinesis, telepathy, dreams, interpretations, animals, enemies, Halloween, the divine womb, deities, tarot cards, higher thoughts, inheritances, loans, banking, animals, pregnancy, woman's body, and finance. The 8th house rules other people's money and transformations. Other people's money can mean debt, taxes, inheritances, wills, joint finances, shared resources, spouse, partner, and loans. The 8th house is on the axis of the 2nd house, and this is an axis of money. The 2nd house is your money, 8th house is other people's money. Transformation can be mental, emotional. Physically, it can be sex, start of life, pregnancy, process of life, and major transformation in a woman's body and death, literally or figuratively. The 8th house is one of the 3 relationship houses. The 5th house is love, 7th house is commitment, 8th house is sex. So like I said, in your 11th house, when you have Uranus, this is a person that comes in and finds a unique way of doing something. Like if you think about Al Capone, what did he do? He found a unique way to make money because he came out doing a prohibition. And Al Capone said, fuck that. And he came up with his way. And see, Al Capone, in a way, he was his worst enemy because he would have really, if he had a little bit more swagger, he could have been in bed because he was already basically running Chicago. But he didn't have the swagger to sit down with those bankers and stuff. So when his people was robbing them bankers, that's what took him out. Because them bankers formed together. They actually formed. That's when all that shit came out. When them other organizations came out to get Capone, they came out because of the bankers. The bankers formed an organization to get him. And he actually met with them. And the guy said, I'm going to take you out, Mr. Capone. And Al Capone said, why? What do you got against me? He said, you're bad for business, Mr. Capone. And he looked him in his face and said, we're going to take you out. So what he stayed true to what he was. He was a street dude. He never forgot that. And he really was a businessman. He really didn't want to have nothing to do with the mob. But once he learned how this world is, he was like he wasn't going back. And he wasn't a loser. So once he knew he was going to rule, and anybody that got in his way was getting off. If they didn't leave, maybe he might pay you off. He may threaten you. But if you didn't move out his way, you were getting off. And everybody knew it. And they knew not to F with Al Capone. And if you did and he found out, he made an example out of you. Because everybody knows what he did with the bat. With the 2 guys. They thought he was honoring them. And he pulled that bat out. But the reason why he chose the bat, because that's how he started. See, he was a real metaphysical dude. He started with the stick. And that was his way of saying anybody that comes across me in my empire that I built with my bare hands is out of here. I don't care who it is. So he thought he had Chicago in his back pocket, and he did. But he started messing with the wrong people. And what really shut him down was he put a hit out on somebody that was sitting next to the person running for presidency. And they carried out the hit anyway. So they shot this guy down next to the dude that was running for presidency. So as soon as he became president, the first thing he said was Al Capone is to be shut down. So these are all enemies. That's why I said your chart has a lot of enemies. And I'm telling you what happened with Al Capone. So he had the president saying this guy's got to go. And then he had the bankers in Chicago say his men are robbing our people. It's bad for business. Plus he was murdering people in the street crazily. I mean, Valentine's Day is highly metaphysical, but Al Capone is responsible for the Valentine's Day massacre, where they acted like they were police officers, and they went to the enemies and said, get up against the wall, and the enemies were thinking it's just a typical arrest. Who cares? They're talking trash, and when they turned their backs, they just opened fire on them, killed them, because even machine gun, all that machine gun was Al Capone's era and shit. Like, this dude brought it, so that's Uranus in Scorpio. I mean, that's one of the most perfect examples of Uranus and Scorpio. But it could just be somebody like New Jack City. He learned how to do something with the drug in a different way. So you see all this stuff here. So that's why I had to read all that. So, but now they're trying to say you could get the same money and it's more secure with your psychic skills. You don't need to do all that. Not saying you are. I'm just saying what's on the chart. Because your chart was talking all about guns and everything. I was cracking up laughing. I'm like, whoa, who am I doing? Like, what the hell? So that is your 11th house, your 12th house. And finally, your 10th house, which is all about career. And your medium quality is also, your medium quality is connected to your true north node, which is also your life purpose. And see, you have a lot of sun energy with your life purpose, but you also got moon energy too. You got the sun, the moon, and the air. You almost have every element Because then when you go back to your EP, it's earth. So you got the earth, the fire, which is the sun, earth, wind, fire, and air. Air, Libra, earth, Capricorn, fire, the sun, earth, wind, fire, and air. So that wind could be the moon, because the moon is a divine feminine, and she is known in the Bible as the wind. That's why if you read John chapter 3, it talks about being born again in a woman. And he said, go back in my mother's womb. And then Jesus said the wind, because that's all metaphysics. So the moon would be the wind, because it's born again. The moon is connected directly to birth, rebirth. And also, they even tell you, if you study reincarnation, they say when you die, your soul goes up to the moon, swiped clean of its memory, and sent back down. So it is the woman. And then the woman is connected to the birth, like I said, the wind. And when you study Egyptology, they tell you that Isis used Mayat to create everything. And Mayat created order out of chaos. So that's kind of like what you're going through right now. Because they're trying to say you got to change. It's kind of like it's an advisory, but it's also a warning from the universe. So what's ever going, only you know. I don't know. I'm only telling you what I see on the chart. But they're showing you that you got nothing to worry about because of the gifts you have. So again, medium Coeli is showing you your purpose, and it's so deep. Your 10th house is deep because it is your career sector. So it's taking you back to Capricorn. It's actually taking you back to your first house, your career sector, and then Saturn is there. And we're going to take our time with that too, because there's different ways you can interpret that. Juno's there. I always say when you see Juno next to Saturn, and the number 2 is always couples, sensitivity or couples. But I always say Juno represents the girl that wants to be married, and Saturn is the daddy with the shotgun to make sure it happens. So she definitely wants her relationship to be real, serious, not a whole lot of bullshit, and it has to be family centered. And then she's got the moon. And she probably learned that from her mother. Either in a good way or a bad way, I wouldn't know. It looks like in a good way. But she probably learned all that motherly, real relationship, a real man, and all that stuff. She probably learned that from her mother. Either studying her mother, either her mother taught it, or watching her mother. Or if her mother went through some stuff and she said, that's not going to happen to me. But it looks like it's really a guidance. And she's getting the guidance from the moon. Because the moon rules Cancer. So your 10th house and your 7th house is a lot like your 4th house, because you're going to try to get the family with this guy that you didn't have in your house with the Aries. Deep. That's why you can't rush this shit, because it's like that's a lot of stuff to look at. All right, now your Lilith will be going back and forth, because Lilith is conjunct the sun, but it's also conjunct the moon. So your Lilith is going to be going between those two energies. And see, your chart, your 10th house is all about balance, and that's why they put Libra there. And that's why they put everything the way they did. But your life purpose is angelic with the 444. And everything I'm going to say about your 10th house is also going to go right back to your 8th house, because that's where Leo is. So that's also going to take you back to your 11th house. So you can even be helping people with their relationships, because that's what Libra is all about. And even businesses with their businesses and their partnerships, because that's what the 10th house is about, and the thing. So you have an unlimited way of making money. And just to give you a piece of advice, I'm going to tell you, you could be, if you know, you could look her up. It's Michelle Knight, because she's in England, but she's real good, and she has people working for her too. But my advice to you is, as much as you can do on your own, do so, and make sure, because I'm a moon sign. My moon sign is Capricorn. Keep your business intact. And make sure if anybody's working with you, like if you start to hire other people, make sure they know what they're doing, because it's going to have your reputation on it. Because you have the to really, really just like, you know, you got Michelle Knight, you got Doreen Virtue. You could be one of those people. And if I'm right about what I'm thinking, you definitely have a business sense. And again, like, find out your connection, because you're connected to like Al Capone types, but even military leaders and stuff, like really people really strategic, but just really warfare. Even like what the Bible says King David was. That was a dude that could fight, that was highly spiritual too, and also a great leader as well. You got all that going on. Because usually when you see Saturn and Capricorn, that's what you're looking at, like a really good administrator. And so if it was religious, that would be like the Pope, or it would be like a female priest, or a woman of a great authority. Even in law, because Libra can mean law too. So your 10th house is touching on all the business, partnerships, relationships. You got to add the family as well, the family, possibly law. Now, Pluto would take you back to your 8th house because Pluto rules Scorpio. But it's also going to take you to your 11th house because Scorpio is in your 11th house. But Pluto makes the people deep. Because like I said, it's deep or serious. But we're just going to look at Pluto in the 10th house. The 10th house can rule role models, guides, authority figures that have assisted us in exteriorating ourselves in the world. So that Saturn there can also represent your father, or some masculine energy that also helped you. Sometimes it's just DNA, it's just bloodline. Because sometimes people don't even know their father, but they're already like them because of the DNA. Here is our career or profession. The dominant parent who guided us in the world. Well, they're both there though. The moon rules the Imum Coeli. See, the mother is the moon in the Cancer, but it's Imum Coeli in the 4th house, and she's going to be with you in your conscious mind forever. So your whole 10th house is about balance. So you're already blessed by the universe that you'll actually help a lot of couples come back together. You'll help businesses and stuff. That's why I said when you focus on your natal chart and you believe it, your life can only help but get better. But there might be some sacrifices because Pluto's about death and rebirth. There might be some sacrifices. That's why I said everybody, your twin. I could see if your twin was really like that perfect love and all that. But most of the time, that person's causing so much hell in your life. Like, I'm like, let me get my life together first because this is some crazy shit. And I don't have the time or the patience to deal. It's other stuff I want to do with my life is besides chasing a bus that doesn't want to be caught. So you got to know these things. Can you do it together? How are you going to do it together and stuff like that? You just got to, it'll all work itself out, but you have to be strong. You have to be an adult. That's why I say, oh, I just want love. Or girls just want to have fun. Well, okay, well, love is possible, but it's still going to take reality at some point. Maybe in the beginning it's all nice and lovey-dovey, but in order for it to be real love, you got to get through the person's bad points and everything, the bad points of life. And a girl, you're not a girl anymore. You're a grown adult. So I understand I'm going to go out tonight with the girls and have a great time, but then you got to realize you're an adult now. You're never going to be a girl again in this life. So you can't think like a girl no more. And I'm talking to everybody. I'm just using these as examples. So here in the 10th house is the career or profession, the dominant parent who guided us in this world, and your orientation towards society based on his or her example. The 10th house is where people in power over us, such as bosses or employees. Let me do that again, bosses or employers. Our honor and reputation, and how we play out these roles in relation to others. such as your father, guide, disciplinary figures, which can include, priests or popes or reverends or pastors. Planets in the 10th house show by the houses they rule which areas our life depends on our reputation and professional role for the fulfillments of our needs. Many planets here indicate a need to achieve and be recognized as important persons, a strong father orientation, or others dependent on us. And you got balance. You got Libra there, but you also got the moon and the sun. You got the masculine and the feminine. You got the mother and the father. It's all about balancing. So when Pluto is in your 10th house, you want to be the person in authority. You want to be the figurehead. And you're going for social power and status. But be aware that you don't manipulate people, because Scorpio can be manipulative. So can... I'm not going to... I would advise you, normally I do, but because of the way your chart is, I'm just going to tell you to trust the universe. That's all I can tell you. But because of they say they're advising you against manipulating others and things like that. Don't let the ends justify the means to climb to the top. They say Pluto is ruthless too. Man, you don't stop. Like I said, I'm just doing what God told me to do. I'm a nice guy in Jersey. Please, I'm elderly. I got to use every excuse. I'm a senior citizen. Please. I don't want any problems. Pluto is ruthless too. And it's retribution. That is Scorpio. Because Scorpio, I told you about, well, I don't have to tell you again. I told you about Al Capone. Pluto, so is Scorpio though. Pluto is ruthless too. I'm reading this. This is myastrologybook.com. Pluto in the 10th house. I thought we were finally done. Pluto is ruthless too, and it's retribution. And if you violate common ethics and standards of fair play, those you have abused may unite to oppose you and bring you down. Just like they did Al Capone. This is why I told you. This is a frequent position for politicians and those with influence and control over the public. Richard Nixon had his position, albeit opposed to Mars, Mercury, and Jupiter, conjunct in the 4th house. He got pulled down too, Richard Nixon. There's a great intensity and depth connected to your career and public image, which may also be directly connected to death and rebirth. Now they're talking about Agatha Christie and Robert Blank. He's known for a literal murder that he carried out by himself and got away with it because he was Beretta. Sonny Bono, Jerry Garcia. Now we know about Jerry Garcia. Now let me tell you how powerful Jerry Garcia in the Grateful Dead was. Because see, that skull is Orion, and you'll see it all over the place. But some people don't even know what they're looking for. That's why when Barack Obama came, he was always with the Grateful Dead. Because this is higher metaphysics and higher esoteric stuff you don't know. But it's all about Egypt, Egyptology, Orion, Isis. Isis is the divine feminine. That's Sirius constellation. Orion is her husband, the divine masculine. That's Osiris. Osiris is the divine masculine. Isis is husband, but that's Orion constellation. Both of those are in the sky every night. As soon as it starts to get dark, you see Sirius looking at you bright. Orion's right over you. You'll see Orion as soon as it starts to get dark. So that's why I said sometimes we don't want to go as deep as we can, but that's what they're trying to tell you. That's your pedigree. So I'm talking about DNA, pedigree. That's your pedigree. There's a great intensity and depth connected to your career and public image, which may be directly connected to birth or rebirth. Your career changes, your career plans will go through many changes because they're telling you right now, whatever you were doing, I'm not telling you what to do. You got to figure this stuff out. But it's time for a new moon. That's what they're trying to tell you. And they're warning you at the same time. Your career plans may go through many changes until you get a firm handle on who you are and what your goals are. I just told you, you're highly psychic. You can be the next Doreen Virtue. You can be the next Michelle. But you have to believe it and start to set up. Because once you start to do what the universe tells you to, you can't be stopped. And right now, the twin flames is important, but he's got to get on board. Because this is your chart. It's all about you. So he has to get on board with that. Because if he's doing anything that's pulling you away from then you don't need to fuck with him. Be Cardi B on that ass. Don't fuck with him because he's gonna fuck you up. That's why I said my twin, let her stay where she's at. Now when she finally can grow up and be a woman and learn how to use a phone call, or you can do a postal message. Whatever you need to do to get past that situation you put yourself in. Because like I said, let me tell you, I said if she keeps calling here hanging up, I'm never going to talk to her. I'm going to make her leave a message. But she's never going to do that. So I got all this information from, like I told you, how they be talking. You're minding your own business, and you look her down, and on the right side is another video for Leo. She wants to talk to you. All kind of crazy shit. Okay, so one time she called on her phone, because her phone number is almost exactly like my phone. So I said, oh, good. And I clicked it to talk to her. Then she hangs up. So that's that running and chasing. So first she's going to have to call on her phone. She's going to have to stop all that silly stuff. And then she should leave a message. But maybe I'll work with her. You know, I got nothing against my twin at the end of the day. But if she keeps up that crazy stuff she's doing, you know, I can go another. Look, I was single before she met because I had already made up my mind. It's other things I want to do on planet Earth besides this love, hate. She loves me, she doesn't love me. It's got to be more to life than just that. And when you look at your chart, it's so much more to life. You're talking about, you see Sagittarius, you're talking about possibly having worldwide all over the world, helping people all over the world. Just like Doreen Virtue does. You understand? It's too much more to life. So your twin is not the biggest thing. But it's so powerful. Like Isis and Orion. Isis and Osiris. Sirius and Orion. It's so powerful that you think it's the only thing. But it's not. And if you really understand twin flames, they're with you anyway. My twin is with me all the freaking time. Only in third dimension. This little matrix they put us in. You got to take control back. You got to take control over yourself. And I'm sorry more people don't understand what I'm saying. But I already know. And like if I know I'm right, I'll be number one. I don't care about one view. Who cares? I know I'm right. Because all those people that are not listening, they're going to pay for that at some point in their life. Guaranteed. Especially when I go spiritual on you. Even Egypt knew about the underworld. You ever heard about the Pharaoh's chamber and all that? The king's chamber going underground in the pyramids? Even they knew about the underworld. So if you think there's not a hell and not an underworld, I feel sorry for you. You're going to find out the hard way. And once you're locked in, you ain't coming back out. This is why the true North Node is in Leo. Because God is raising people up like me to tell you the truth before it's too late. And if you understand about the pyramid, what did you have there? That big cat. And that cat is the body of a cat in the head of really a Virgo or a Sphinx. The Virgo or whatever. Because the Virgo was on there too. That Sphinx is really Virgo and Leo. It's like the woman riding the beast in the Bible. But they chop off their head and keep putting different heads on it. So they say you have the ability to revitalize business that are seemingly dead or dying. So you can do that. But your whole thing is always going to be death and resurrection. But it's always going to be a lot of power as well. So your Juno will be somebody with all these energies we're talking about. Might have Saturn or Capricornian energy. And also have that Leo energy. Because they'll also want a relationship too. And you keep seeing the number 4 in your 10th house because that's angelic. And they already told you that this person might even be a prince. With Juno at 48. Minute. Saturn means, you know, a little seriousness. A little orderliness, rules and regulations. And Saturn can mean you could really be a really good administrator. All right. Now, we want Lilith conjunct. Well, let's do Lilith in Libra. Fair, diplomatic. They like harmony. You like to flirt and manipulate your fellow beings and well-meaning intentions. So that's something you make because the word manipulate keeps coming up. So you might want to study that more about manipulation. I mean, some people are good at it, but in life, sometimes you just want to study like the pros and cons of everything. You rush into, but then break relationships. Now I hope that's not your case. But Libras are like that anyway. Libra, their fault is this. They like to see an ideal world. And if anything's outside of their ideal, then they withdraw. And Lilith can do that too because Lilith's internal as well. So that's not good to have a partner and start to feel a certain way and you don't even talk to your partner about it. That's not cool. And that's a form of manipulation. Because you got this guy thinking, oh, everything's cool, and he has no idea. And then maybe you're mad at him and he doesn't even know why you're mad at him. This is all Lilith Libra. And then all of a sudden now you're talking to this other guy, you're getting way too friendly with this other guy at work and all. You know, it's not cool. And that happens a lot, but that's just not cool. Because what if that was you? You probably wouldn't like it. You know what I'm saying? And with everything I see on your chart, you're almost ready to put a hit out on somebody, you know? So if you don't, so that's why they keep talking about the Bible. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. But the Bible always says if you don't like that being done to you, then don't do it to somebody else. Because they say this person may vary between commitment, but also autonomy. Because you're gonna have moon, you got the whole moon thing going on, so you will be going back and forth. It's gonna be very hard for your partner to understand that. So it's things to work on, maybe communication. You'll see yourself as completely different because, again, Libra stays in an idealistic world. And they really like harmony. And they're not really happy when they don't get harmony. And like, say you're arguing with your partner and you agree to disagree. But the Libra is going to keep bringing it up. And that could be like nagging. Like Libra and Virgo are a lot alike because they like to see things a certain way. And Virgo can be very critical too. You always got to realize nothing in this life is going to be perfect. So don't strive for perfection because it doesn't exist. Doesn't mean you have to second settle for everything, but you also have to be reasonable. And you have to, would I like that if somebody did that to me? So it's important for you to be accepted emotionally from your partner. You have wisdom, intuition, and you're well with psychology. And you have a love for music and the arts. Because this person has a lot of class. That's Venus, Libra, Sagittarius. This person has a lot of class. Like I keep trying to tell you about Al Capone. Ruthless if you piss them off. But a very classy individual. Alright, now. Okay, so we have Lilith conjunct the moon. This is the mother anti-mother. So your 10th house has a lot of conflicts in it. The mother and the anti-mother. And I was going to say that earlier. I just didn't. It's the virgin and the whore. But she said this is the priestess and occultist. See? So that even this is taking you back really to your 8th house. Because that's what a priestess is with Leo. When it's good, it's very good. But when it's bad, it's terrible. And you want to be careful because that's your career sector. Because you don't need a whole lot of BS in the career sector. Because again, it's going to mess your money up. But we keep seeing it. Like we keep seeing the Uranus blessing you through the Jupiter and Sagittarius. But through your Taurus and now your 10th house and your 5th house and your 2nd house, it's like you're messing the money up. And that's why I said when you watch these gangsters, they do that. They'll do all this stuff to get the money and then they mess it up. And I just said Al Capone. All those murders and everything he did to become Al Capone. He was ruling Chicago. He was ruling the police and everything. But he messed with the wrong people. And that's what they said. They said that these people don't want to fight you because they see how powerful you are. But if you keep pushing them, they're going to start pushing back to your own downfall. So I would tell you to really, really study manipulation and really know that. You know, and like I said, people, especially with Libras, like a Libra will try to tell you how wrong you are. Like, first off, I'm only showing you what the experts are saying. So it's not me. I'm showing you the references. Now, this is Lilith conjunct moon. I don't have the website because I had this as my paperwork. This is in my document section. But if you just go Lilith conjunct moon, I'm sure you can see it online. So they say a moon conjunct Lilith is somebody who's going to be popular doing what's uncommon. And that's, you know, psychology. Whatever, it could be astrology, psychology. It could even be darker stuff. But they become popular for doing it. So they're really connected to the woman and the goddess, but they're unique, but they're also connected to the sun as well. This can be because they were brought up by a single mother or by one who was quite bewitching and manipulative to the point it felt like she was inside them. Wow. My mom's like that. My mom's could get inside your head if you let her. She's real good with that manipulation shit. Mind manipulation. That's that Imum Coeli I keep telling you about. That's why Alfred Hitchcock made Psycho. Because that mother got all inside. That mother got inside her son's head so much that she had him wearing dresses and all that crazy shit. So this is the glorification of the feminine. But see, yours is unique because it's the male too. So who that Saturn male is, could be your twin you're in a relationship with, could be your dad, it could be, but it's some masculine as well. So they said if this was a man's natal chart, he would really have issues with his mother. And if it's a man, he could have troubles worshiping a woman but abusing her. So just be aware. They're saying that this was a male chart, but if I was a female, I still would want to know. It doesn't matter if it's a male chart now because you're talking about it could go a certain way. So that's why I tell you, you got to really understand manipulation. You got to see, if you're going to be in a relationship with a male, try to understand how a male feels. Because as a female, you may feel a certain way and want to withdraw or whatever, or start doing stuff differently. But to him, he's like, why? We didn't even talk. You know, I can't even trust you or stuff. Or if it's flirtation, he's wondering, well, what type of woman is she? You know, so you got to kind of understand you're in a relationship. You can't just go, well, man up. Well, you should trust me. It should be unconditional love. It should be, because you understand, you got to see things from his viewpoint. All that stuff sounds good, but to me, if you're not really guilty or nothing, why are you so strong on unconditional and trust me and all that? That's how anybody with common sense would see that. Because if a guy kept telling you that, you would get sick of hearing it. Especially a woman, she's naturally suspicious. So if he kept telling you, you just got to learn to trust me and unconditional, after a while, you're going to get sick of that bullshit. You're going to want to see some specifics. Look, you're coming home late every day. Every day you come home, it's a different hair on you. Well, something's up. You know, you can't just expect me to just trust you. You know? So we got to, that's when you're not ready for a relationship because you're still using that childhood trying to get over mentality. So they're saying this woman, because of Moon and Lilith, they may want to reject marriage and a husband altogether. But I don't see that on your chart. And to be honest, it looks like that's strong for you. Because you got Saturn there, you got Juno there, you got a Libra there. You got the moon, which can be romantic. The sun, romantic. But they said Lilith doesn't like marriage because Lilith doesn't like babies. That's what, because they say she kills babies and stuff. So they say the reason why Lilith doesn't want to have a husband and stuff because she doesn't want to be responsible for the children. That's what this person is saying. Now, let me see if I could just put this in and give you the website because I think it's important. If I can find, I can't guarantee I'm going to find it, but I need to find it because if I can find it, then I'll put it there so people know it's not me saying it. Okay, this is darkastrology.com, Moon conjunct Lilith. This is where I get this information from. Yep. If you go there, she's sexy too. Got a little short little dress, all white. Like, yeah, that's the one I was talking about. The name of the, whoever heard me before, the name of that 1980s group is called the Eurythmics. The Eurythmics. See, I can't talk because my whole throat is like clogged. Eurythmics. And it was that woman with that blonde hair with the guy. This woman looks like her. I'm glad I found this. See how everything works? Everything works for a reason. So women may not physically have children due to their sexual orientation. If they do marry, they may have a great difficulty conceiving. Whatever happens, childbearing does not come or happen naturally for them. This person is the archetype of the witch and the crone. But let me just explain. The divine feminine comes in three people. The girl or the teenage girl. The woman that's an adult woman, like in the 30s or 40s or whatever. And the crone, the old lady. So Moon conjunct Lilith is perfect for midwives, devotes themselves to nurturing other women and their children as a substitute for their own. And there could be a lot of sexuality there as well, but it's kind of hidden until you get them alone and stuff. Like with Lilith, she can just come out. Like depending on what house she's in, like during sex, she'll just start yelling or she might scratch up your back. But that's Lilith. She's all, no matter what, whether she's retrograde or direct Lilith is in, she's always like an internal type. She's going to hold a lot of stuff in. Now this woman may have a problem thinking that they're not sexy, but others are intrigued with her because she's sultry and somewhat coy mystique, the moon. But that makes people want to know more and want to try to get into her. Because they say that the moon and Lilith, it can mix like two different energies together, but that's what you got in your chart anyway. So, and these two mixes produce a somewhat downright balmy solution to lunar issues. So she may have a loony sense of humor, and she can yield to ludicrous domestic arrangements. Because your 10th house is a domestic house because of the moon, and the moon rules Cancer, which is the family. Plus you got the whole home. I'm sure you got the whole home thing going on too. So they don't give a fig what other people think they say, but that is in Capricorn. So they probably care a little bit, but not the way they say the average person would. Okay, that is Lilith conjunct the moon. Now let me just see if they have a Sun conjunct, just to see. And they do. My first time ever getting it. All right. Just give me a moment. But they say sorcery. So this chick is deep in all of this. She's deep in all of this. All right. And then that sun is going to take you back to your Leo, your Aries, Sagittarius, all your fire signs. Especially your Leo in your 8th house. Give me a moment. This computer is running slow. So the Sun conjunct Lilith is going to play out the ego feeling exiled from the dominant cultural system. Sometimes this is as a result of actual abuse from authority figures. And you got that Saturn sitting right there. Because when I saw Saturn, I could have said abuse, but I didn't. But now they're saying it. The closer love. So you just got to watch how you relate to the guy. I'm just going to warn you. I don't know the situation. And I'm not even saying it's true, but I'm just hearing it and seeing it too much. You have to relate. See, what a female has to realize, what I don't know if you guys are ever going to realize it, you have to take responsibility for your feelings and how you act, because it's going to cause a reaction. Not saying it's not. I'm not justifying it in the least, but I'm telling you it's as in a reality. You can't just do whatever you want and think you're not gonna emit out negative energy that's going to affect the guy, and then he's not going to respond. You know, and he should be more manly or whatever you want to call it. He shouldn't let a female's emotions cause him to act emotional. But you guys don't realize how powerful you are too. That's why that movie Psycho, that's what happened to him. The woman is always going to be more powerful because everything came from the woman. The woman's first. So y'all don't realize how powerful you are. So that's why I say if you're going to be in a relationship, try to have at least mutual respect. Especially if he's trying to respect you, or if he's trying to love you and honor you, and you fuck this guy all up, and now he's fucked up, and now he's trying to fuck up every female that comes his way. It's a horrible cycle. But it could stop if people started taking responsibility for their actions and stop blaming everything for I mean, I've been through a lot of shit, but I always held myself responsible for anything I did. I never blamed my mom, my dad, life, Wayman, them. I don't blame that. Whatever happens, you got to take responsibility. And you're on a planet where everything is not going to be good all the time, especially depending on who you are. So you kind of got to get used to going forward, do a whole lot of stuff, and learn how to, like Jay-Z said, wipe stuff off your shoulder and keep it moving. Because otherwise, you're gonna self-destruct yourself. And that's why the Matrix is set up to do exactly that. That's why they don't tell you the truth, and then they dumb everybody down, and then they just do a whole lot of stuff. They're really mind fucking you. So you got to take your mind back, your power back, and start to realize what you really want, and then you start to see the power of the universe again. So this person may feel eclipsed. They said the closer the Lilith is to the sun, the more they feel eclipsed, because they feel like they're outcasted. And yours is really close, 15 degrees, 10 degrees. Therefore, the taboo is cast over those subjects' identity to the extent that they can become demonized. Demonized. Now, whether they mean that literally or figuratively, I don't know. But we already know what you were told about enmities. So that's why we're trying to. And again, like this is what I'm trying to tell you. When you begin to take your power, you can get deliverance, or you'll be better able to deal with it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. The worst mistake you can make in this world is not to take responsibility for your actions, because you're still going. There is a judgment. There is a judgment day. There is a hell. That's why the Egyptians had the queen's chamber, the king's chamber. They knew about the underworld, you know. And so that's why I'm trying to teach people to re-educate. It does matter. So it don't. Yes, it do matter. That's why your natal chart talks about karma and stuff. Everything matters. And the more you realize that, the more you start to live in a different way, where you're no longer being fucked by this matrix that you're in, because they have you thinking it's cool to be disobedient, or it's cool to disrespect the Most High. They have you believing that, but you're gonna pay for that, either now or in the afterlife. So they say these folks are sensitive. Sun conjunct Lilith, these folks are sensitive and may fall for the forbidden fruit of drugs to numb the pain of feeling like an outcast. But they say even though you have because of the Sun conjunct Lilith, you have a countercultural behavior, you still have a need to feel like you belong and are part of a family. But you see all that Cancer in life, so we already talked about that. So they told you the same thing I did. They said get out in nature as well. Learn how to bond with nature and animals. If your plan is confirmed, that your sexuality will be instinctive and untamed. And I'm pretty sure that's true. And they feel very comfortable in their own skin. So they say you may reject any solar collaboration for fear of being totally outshone. Well, I'm here to tell you the solar is your friend. I'm a Leo. The solar, don't be mad at the solar. The solar is your friend. What they're telling you to do is balance out. That's why I'm trying to say, if I'm a female and I know I have certain ways that may cause my relationship to be unbalanced, it's time for me to be a little bit more mature and deal with it. And if I fuck up, at least I'm being honest about it. I'm sorry I messed up or whatever. Just be honest. Like any of y'all ever watched the Kardashians? This is why that guy went gay. I won't say gay, but he changed into a woman. Okay? Because he was getting his ass kicked. They just totally disrespected him. He raised that girl as a daughter, and she didn't want him to marry. She didn't want him to give her away in marriage, and she wouldn't even tell him why. He tried to talk to her, she wouldn't talk. His wife did. His wife let the daughters do something, and he was trying to talk to his wife, and she just kept getting disrespectful. Like, I don't have to answer your question and stuff. So this is all female stuff, and we understand why. Okay, you're goddesses. Okay, we're tapping out. Because when you women whipped our asses, we deserved it. Because men, at one time, men had taken over. And they turned you guys into maids. They wouldn't clean the baby's diapers. When they came home, they were talking shit. You gotta have the house clean, all that. So y'all revolted and whipped our ass. You beat our asses, but you won the fucking war, but you're still fighting and shit. Now all these men are turning gay. It's getting to the point that I'll be like, is that a guy or a good girl? Yeah, I used to know that shit. Now they got on tight ass jeans and then they wear their jackets over their ass, like above it, so you can see like a female would do. These are guys. What the hell? So we already know the women are winning. But you have to understand, the moment you say relationship, you have to have some type of compromise. It's a dictatorship. That would be a dictatorship if you don't. It's supposed to be a relationship. So when you have that, and then you're saying, where's my twin? Why is my twin not? You got to look at yourself, just like I had to look at myself. Like I found out with us, it was probably some past life stuff. Because I could see it on my natal chart. With me and her, it's probably some past life stuff. The subject may be so they may totally reject the solar collaboration for fear of being totally outshone, or I'm going to add or exposed, because that's what the light is going to do. It's going to help show you, okay, you need to work on this stuff. Females could refuse to marry or have same-sex relationships, because I've been doing a lot of Libras this week, and that seems to be the thing, especially a lot of Libras with Uranus or Aquarius, because they're alternative. They say most subjects, however, will prefer to work for themselves. The fiery creation of the sun fused with the piercing intuition. I want y'all to know I'm just about done. Notice how it ends with the sun. And I didn't do this on purpose. This is the universe. The fiery creation of the sun fused with the piercing intuition of the black moon makes these subjects sexually magnetic and intense. They are closely bound to the spirit world and can perform magic for good or for ill. If exiled, these folks will create their own brand of sexuality or moral code. So in effect, Sun conjunct Lilith crowns itself. And that's what you see, the woman is crowned with the sun in the book of Revelation chapter 12. Sun conjunct Lilith creates, because it's the whole mother-son thing. And all the ancients knew that. Everybody knows about the mother, who they say Mother Mary, in Jesus. But they also call it Isis and Horus. Sun. Alright, well this is saying Sun quincunx Lilith. And since yours is Sun conjunct Lilith, I don't want to read it, because it could be a wrong reading. Alright. That just about ends it. Alright, now let me look at we're going to look at two different things. We're going to look at the chart, which I'm pretty sure everything was covered, and the time, which is really not bad for time. Alright, just give me one moment. Alright, before we go into the right side, on the right side, to the males natal chart, I want to thank the divine, thank spirit, because they brought me two very powerful people, because everything comes in batches with me. And they had a woman with the moon was a 11/11 moon in Taurus. And if you watch this natal chart, she had a unique Taurus, but it's a medium quality 444. So these are unique people. All right, now we're going over to the male's chart. In his first house, okay, you got the same Mars Aries, so this is a fiery relationship. A lot of arguments. Now, when we get to the right side, just so everybody knows, on any chart, this was a special chart to the left. But on any chart, to the left is always a lot longer, because you're explaining all the symbols, all the signs. You're explaining all the houses. So you're not going to re-explain that when you get to the second. You're going to go into what it just says and keep it moving. All right. So that is his first house, his ascendant, his EP, again ascendant, when the sun came over the horizon, when he was born at the time of his birth. And EP is where the sun was over the ecliptic at the sign of his birth. But this is a person that has warfare. And when you have a Mars right there at that 0.0 degrees, so it could be Mars in the 12th house as well as the first house. So the universe does everything for a reason, but again, the time that was given, we're not totally sure about. But this would be a very, very lot of energy, but a lot of intensity, and can be almost something like a Bonnie and a Clyde type situation. If these two were partners, you know, just saying. Second house. Now, just so you know, Aries has a lot to do with initiations as well. Number one, fire sign. They usually have good vision. They're focused people. They can have intense focus too. Second house is Taurus, and once again, there's no money there. See, the unique thing about his natal chart is his first house will be Taurus. Like his first house will be Aries. The 8th house will be Scorpio. The 12th house will be Pisces. So his natal chart aligns with the houses as it should, as it would be. First house Aries, 5th house Leo. So that's kind of unique. But again, in his second house, you see no money. You see Taurus, but you don't. It's money, possessions. His value system. Now, if somebody was to say, "Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about because he does have money," but you have to understand, it all depends on where do you get the money from, stuff like that. But his personal money, he will not have according to the chart. And you'll have to wait till you get to other sides of the chart to learn more. And then even when you get to the third house with Gemini, the Jupiter is retrograde. And again, that tells you, again, usually when Jupiter is retrograde, what it does, it helps you with your intuition, to listen to your intuition. But as I explained earlier, Gemini is the immature stage of a relationship. But Jupiter retrograde will help him think. Things that I'm leaving her because of this. I'm leaving her because of that. But then Jupiter will help him see how really those were good aspects, or it wasn't as bad as he was making it at the time. Because the whole thing is in a twin flame relationship. And like I said, with every natal chart, you get the free reports. And on the free report, I said reports twice, but it's really free report. Now, when you look on that, you're going to see the two DNA awakening, twin flame drama and twin flame separation. So you want to get to the Sagittarius energy, more mature energy, so you'll stop having separation all the time. So that's what they're trying to do. Jupiter is trying to make him see the good points, so he won't want to just give up so easily and keep going into separation. Like, just right now, I tell you, she's like, I'm going to try to explain the feminine to you, because this is stuff that I don't think people really talk about, or they water it down. But the feminine is powerful. I can tell you how powerful my twin was. Like, eerily powerful. That's why I said if we really knew what the world was really like the Egyptians kind of knew, and they wrote about it on the hieroglyphics and stuff like that. But we really don't realize, we're from something else. But the woman is unbelievably powerful. Because my twin's higher self ain't no freaking joke. Like, it scared the hell out of you. But I was already used to this stuff. Like, I've been in spirituality all my life. But in more recent years, metaphysics. But I'm already aware of spirituality and other worlds and evil spirits and all that. So that was no big deal to me. I'm used to it. I see that. But this was something else. When you see a woman in mythology or whatever, a woman with a lot of birds, that's because you got God and you got the angels. And then you got the serpents. Like the Egyptians dealt with the serpents. Now, when you get to John chapter 3, it talks about Nicodemus coming in the night. Well, that night represents the divine darkness of the divine woman. She's all throughout the Bible. Now, they begin talking about serpents. Because like I said, and those serpents are like what you call Nagai serpents and seraphims and all that. These are serpents, but they're angels. And then he talks about being born again, going back in your mother's womb. Because everything comes from the divine feminine and will return there. And then Jesus started talking about the wind. But the wind is God's anger. When the wind shows up, God's in a whirlwind, or a wind shows up, that's God's anger. And it's taking you back to the creation. Because with every birth and new birth, it's going to be a creation. Out of chaos comes order, which is on your dollar bill. Because all these people are Egyptologists. And that's Isis and the Mayat to create. But she created everything out of chaos with a wind. wind and rain and everything. So, and they kind of show you that at the Bible. You see the creation out of chaos in Genesis chapter 1. The earth was without form. Yeah, because when it's not formed, it's chaotic. Anything that doesn't have form is like disorganized, chaotic. So there's going to be that extreme power. So she would have had that anyway, the person on the left. But she's got a whole lot of other stuff going on that makes her even more powerful. To the point she might even be intimidating. Because even as we were studying, it said that people, like the enemies, don't want to mess with her. But they will if she keeps pushing, they will. But other than that, they would rather not mess with her. Like one of my favorite movies was you know, that woman with the gun protecting that little boy. And that was some real shit. What that movie was. All right. So that's what's going on in his third house. Fourth house is family. Now, the good thing about it is, he is a family person. But now if you notice, Chiron is retrograde. So he also had a problem with Chiron. Well, he had a problem in family with Chiron. That could have something to do with her 7th house. Because her 7th house of relationships is Chiron, and that's her soulmate. So that could be him. Now, his 5th house. And see, now you're looking at the pyramids. Because you got the whole Virgo's Leo going on. But his Juno is really almost on the border. Pretty much looks like it's still in his house. But it's almost at the border. So it might be carrying it over. And again, we don't know his exact time. But now, why is that important? Because her whole chart, at the end of it, is about that light, that sun, that Leo energy. You understand? And what you have to understand, if you ever watch spirit mediums, when those people will start talking to them, they might not take them over, but you could tell. And even when I first started, I could just feel like whatever I said, that probably was him, because there's your Leo. One, two, three, four. 5th house in Leo. And that's Juno. And then she has her sun in the 10th house. Still not enough to say they're twin souls. Same soul, different body. But you can definitely see the soulmate connection. Because that's your soul house, is the 8th house. And that's your true north node in Leo. And then he's got Leo in his 5th house. But then we also talked about the 6th house as well. It's right there a little bit. And then again, so we already know what the 6th house is about. All about service, home, little children. We're not going to go over that again. But Lilith is there. And she's retrograde. Now, for the most part, Lilith retrograde is going to hold everything in. She's very internal. So if she feels a certain way about the home situation, she's not necessarily going to talk about it. But it'll manifest in other ways, possibly her mood or in other ways. But what we want to do now is we just want to look at Lilith in the 6th house. And give me a second, I just have to find it. Let me see. All right. Let me see. I'm gonna look here. All right. Lilith in the 6th. Harboring anger towards another person can make you actually physically ill. It says you probably will despise Virgo type people of the opposite sex. So this is lipstickalley.com. Lilith and the signs and the houses. All right, so he may have a Virgo problem because you had, I believe you had a pretty strong Virgo on your chart. But we're gonna look at it. Just give me a second. All right. So like I said, and you see her Virgo got Venus there and Jupiter, and I told you her 9th house. Remember I told you that's about twin flames maturity. And then her 6th house has Gemini. So, but both of those is still soulmate. Like they just get into it. Like a lot of times on soulmate charts, them two just get into it. It could be a karmic debt or like that's like twin, like a soulmate charts are like that. Like this one. I said how I was doing. I had a person, one person. I forget what sign she was. She might have been a Gemini, but she really just wanted to talk about everything. And I was like, no, we don't do that. Like I'll show you what's there, and you got to study because it's your chart. You know, you got to take responsibility. There's no way I'm going to help you with that because that's your life. And I've been doing this for decades, so I know how you work with people. And you can spend so much time on people, and they're still going to do what the heck they want to. So, you know, it can't just be a sociable thing. And if you were going to put a finance on that, they couldn't afford that anyway because it's just too much time talking, and people are going to do what they want to anyway. So I stopped doing that a long time ago. So I basically said something, I forget, but I could see on her chart about the marriage situation. So then she wanted to argue with me. Oh, you know, I'm happily married and all that. But it was just, you know, the whole nature of it was even the questions you're asking, you can't possibly be happily married. So then I finally said, okay, whether you're happily married, I don't know for sure. I don't live in your house. But I do see it right here. You had separation from the marriage. And then she came back, oh yeah, you're right. We did separate. So that's what I'm saying. It's more important for a person to study their chart and get it than to try to look for argument because that's not helping nobody. That's just wasting everybody's time. So on this particular chart, you could definitely see the arguments with the whole Moon Aries thing. And then I didn't say it. That was Lipstick Alley. She said if you have Lilith retrograde in the 6th house, which is ruled by Virgo, and his 6th house is Virgo, he said you probably don't like the Virgo of the opposite sex. And we already explained Lilith on the other side, how that could be a man with a woman issues or mother issues, could be. So whatever it means doesn't mean he dislikes her, but it means they don't get into it. But that's still soulmate. That's not a twin soul. So now we go to the next thing, and then this one makes you wake up a little bit because now you got the vertex, which could be a soulmate, twin soul, your twin flame, twin soul, same thing. Significant meeting, a significant event, a significant breakup. And there you have it. That Moon in Libra. Okay? So that's her. in the 7th house. So now this is making a little bit more. And then you have the Venus in Virgo, because that's her Venus in Virgo, his Venus in Libra. So now you're seeing more of it starting to tell a story. You understand? And then we told you about the Leo energy. And then you have Vesta, because Vesta was with Leo in the 8th house. Now that looks more like twin flame. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. I've also seen soul mates. Twin souls, same soul, different body. Twin soul, twin flame, same thing. Soulmate is anybody in your soul family. So this could still go either way. It's not definitive. The reason why I do the way I'm doing what I'm doing, because somebody might think somebody's their twin, and I get this. And I'll have people to argue with me. And then as they go down the line, they find out that that person wasn't a twin. But they argue with me head up and head toes that it is their twin. Then they finally get the realization that it's not, just like I said. So this is a possibility, but it's still not definitive. But it's definitely a soul, karmic relationship, soul connection. Definitely. Now, when you get to the 8th house, which is all about Scorpio, and then yeah, you have it. See, now you got that sun sign in Scorpio. See, now it's making more and more sense, because you got a Leo in the 8th house. You have a Leo sun sign thing going on. And you also got some 5th house stuff going on with Taurus, because that's where your Chiron retrograde is. And then you got some Mercury stuff. But if you look at Mercury, you got Scorpio in Mercury, and so does he. So now he's all about power. So there's a lot of power struggles between these two. A lot of past life stuff going on. And if you notice, he only had one retrograde in his planets. So that's amazing. So like I said, it's, you know, some people don't like to accept it, but some people are just higher than human. It could be angelic. It could be a lot of things going on. So now you see the whole sun with Scorpio and sun with the 8th house. And see, now it's making more and more like this could really be twin. Now this is more and more saying they are twin souls, twin flames, but it's still based on a lot of power struggles, transformations, death and rebirth, which probably means separation and getting back together. And I think they say she doesn't have a fear of the unknown, and I don't think he does either with that sun right there. And then there goes his Sagittarius in the 9th house. And everything is so close to the 10th house. When you see Saturn and Sagittarius, and again, we don't know his real time, so this is up in the air. But whenever you see Saturn that close to Uranus, because Uranus can change at the stop of a dime, and Uranus can Saturn is trying to keep him in check. Like, we know you like to do things spontaneously, but still don't be so spontaneous that it's not beneficial. So Saturn's going to try to hold it, but Saturn is so close to the 10th house. So even the 9th house, Saturn could represent law, because your 9th house is about higher laws. Because Uranus can just want to do it out of control, and then Saturn has to stop it. That's one possibility. Medium Coeli is like true, is part of his true purpose, which we haven't gotten to yet. We haven't gotten to his true north node. But Neptune in Capricorn. That's a unique. Let's look at that, Neptune in Capricorn. When you see Neptune in Capricorn, it is a period of dissolving and dissolution of old governments and national boundaries. The Iron Curtain and the Soviet Union went down when Neptune was in Capricorn. And governmental philosophies throughout the world, communism. So what Neptune in Capricorn does, it tends to take down, like, cause see in her house she got that powerful Saturn. Well, Neptune in Capricorn kind of like takes down. So he might be there to help you get off your high horse. And like I keep trying to say, there's a reason for everything. So Neptune in Capricorn, Neptune overthrows Capricorn energy and brings in a more idealistic way of life. But through the idealism, remember Neptune is Pisces, which is spiritual. But you just have to be careful of deception with Neptune and Pisces. So this would symbolize the entrance of the spirit or the idea into form, or ideal into form and structure. So you're looking at an advanced soul that incarnated here, because they called him a prince if this is the same person. Advanced souls incarnate while Neptune is in Capricorn. So that's part of his life purpose, his medium coeli. And then there goes the spiritual right there to back it up, the 12th house, because Neptune rules Pisces. So he's kind of like grounding you. So the universe gave you somebody that, you know, you're a tough guy. Well, then you got a tough guy. And you guys are duking it out. But at the end of the day, and I kept telling you this was about Leo and about the sun, because they're bringing you to the spirituality. Like your Bible, the Old Testament is the moon. That's why all the nation of Israel, the biblical nation of Israel, is all about the moon. Passover on the moon, all the festivals on the moon, new moon, all about the moon. But that was the woman, and she gave the law, but she didn't play. If you violated that law, you probably paid severely. The Old Testament is about the sun that comes to kind of check that moon, and that's what John chapter 3. That's why he came in the nighttime, the darkness. Because this darkness led the nation of Israel in your Bible. And that's was the sun coming, the S-U-N, and say, okay, now it's time for grace. Now you got to learn about spirit. Because up until now, you knew a lot about the soul, maybe, but in a dark world, but you didn't know a lot about the spirit. So now I, the sun, am here to teach you about the spirit and grace. So these people with Neptune and Capricorn will take positions as statesmen and women, educators, healers, spiritual leaders. And that when Neptune was in Capricorn, they began to tap the sea for minerals, because Neptune's always going to deal with water. So he likes water. And it's funny because the moon deals with water too. So that's his medium coeli, his true north node. Is all about spirituality. Okay, now the 11th house, Aquarius. So he's good with seeing patterns. Pallas will help him see patterns, but Pallas also deals with social issues. Now he's got a big number, 12, 12, 12. 12 good fortune, 12 north node, 12 minute, 12 degrees north node, 12 minute, and house number 12. So he can't get past 12. And then they're talking about a prince. And even if you look at the chart, you see his crown is on at that point. You can't make this stuff up. And he's connected to water. So in his 11th house, he's all about helping people, helping social issues, enlightening people. So she's more the businesswoman. She's more the administrator. She's more tougher to get stuff done. But he's more tougher to tell her, well, what about this? Or what about that? I mean, not that I want to hear it, but I can imagine some of the arguments these two may have had throughout or if you want to say debates or discussions, but I can kind of tell. Because she's a go-getter. She's a Capone. She'd run over, if not, but Capone was cool though, because he had his standards. And that's why you got that Saturn right there. Capone was cool as long as you respected the standards. But this person's more to the right. He's more like, well, what about this or what about that, or just social issues maybe and spiritual issues. So that's his true north node in his 12th house. Now, when you have Pisces in the 12th house, well, Pisces is a 12th house, but that's his true north node. And the reason why his Mars is kind of like in Pisces, because I believe that's you. Because he's got to pull you into the what about this. Because it's your nature to kind of just be bottom line. Like they said, the end justifies the means. Just bottom line. Not that you're a bad person, but you're kind of like bottom line. And you're in it to win it. So he's like your conscience to a certain degree. What about this? What about that? All right, so we're about to finish up. That hook at 17 degrees, which deals with number 8 of karma, or the 8th house. That hook is nurturing. So he may do nurturing in the 12th house. So I believe we looked at good fortune in the 12th house, because you have good fortune in your 12th house. Let me see. Yeah, you have good fortune. So we did look at that. Now we will look at Pisces in the 12th house. It's funny, they don't even really want to I wouldn't have thought it'd be that difficult. So I'm gonna do it again anyway, just to see. Because they don't want to talk about it, because Pisces is the 12th house, but no. That's why you do want to talk about it, because they're making a statement. All right, now there is I want to see, just give me, be patient with me.
Hi, my name's Seth, and welcome to my 12th house series. So I'm going to be taking this time to talk about a specific sign in the 12th house. If you don't really...
All right. So he's on YouTube. I'm just waiting for his... Either way, this is astrolibrary.org, and we're going to talk about it. Okay, so this is a CANCVIRGO, King Virgo Astrology, 2 words. King Virgo, 1 word. Astrology, the other word. From March 7, 2015. Pisces in the 12th house. If you want to watch that video. If Pisces is in the 12th house, this is astrolibrary.org. If Pisces is in the 12th house, you have unconscious spiritual wisdom that is not apparent on the surface. You possess an intense empathy for mankind, yet at times you feel alone, confused, and unconscious level may sometimes be your undoing. So they're telling him to get better in contact with his unconscious. Again, dreams. Again, write your dreams down. He can even have a journal with him that he walks around with. Because you're still telling, your 12th house is telling you to deal with any dark situations, any hidden situations. You still have to deal with it. And Pisces in the 12th house, you just follow Neptune. And his Neptune takes him right back to the 10th house. So he may have had some 10th house Saturn issues there, or Capricorn issues there. And with Uranus being a little that close, you might even do Uranus and Sagittarius. Because it's not really apparent what those issues are. But you can always go back to the 6th house with Virgo. So he may even have some issues with her from the past life. So what I'm going to say is it's a high probability they are twin flames. But it's just that she is so powerful. You understand? So it's not like it's not going to be like a story. It's not like most twin flame natal charts, one door opens as the other one closes. Like they tell a story. And this one kind of does, but it's just intense. And I can kind of imagine that he may have been through a lot in this life or in the past life, because she is really like that powerful. And he's had his universal job has been to try to get her to see life a different way. And I believe it has taken a toll on him. This is why you're talking about Virgo, which is health. And you definitely see his Chiron was with Capricorn, but we already connected to his Chiron retrograde was with Cancer, but we already connected the Cancer to her and everything. We already did that. And then she felt bad. Why? Because the 5th house. Because he's the Leo, the 5th house. And why? Because Taurus can be bullheaded. You understand? And then when you go to her 2nd house, you understand? You see Capricorn. Why? Because he's the Capricorn, and his medium coeli, or some of his life purpose, is to kind of deal with her. And this is all in the 12th house. Because he's got to take her, and she has a strong Saturn side right there, which rules Capricorn. So he's got to take her bottom lineness of a Capricorn, because Capricorn is bottom line. It's like he's taking her earthiness of the Capricorn and trying to make it watery. And that's what you see him doing in his 10th house and his 12th house. So I hope that makes sense. If anybody else wants anything, we do all kind of compatibility charts. This is a twin flames natal chart, compatibility chart, relationship chart, life purpose, numerology, life purpose, numerology, name, numerology, birth date, really anything that you have trouble understanding, anything that's considered supernatural, any questions you might have. We offer all that as a service. Now we do give you information in the description box below how to contact us, get the price list, service list. We have some sales being offered. There's some sales being out there now. It is close to Saturday. We have another offer for the weekend Saturday. So you can find it. That video's on there. Like if you open up this page, it'll be there. It might be like, man, within the first 12 videos or something. We have a Saturday sale. You got to see it because we're real close to Saturday. It's 3:10 p.m. Friday afternoon. So we're real close to Saturday. So that sale is in effect. All right. That's it for now. God bless.